What's up, folks? This is Josh back here from Inside Wrestling Truth. It's that time of week again for a Royal Rumble review. Today we're doing 1992. 1992 Royal Rumble was held on January 19th, 1992, Albany, New York, in the Knickerbocker Arena. Before I get all into this show was a classic. I love this Royal Rumble. It's my favorite Royal Rumble of all time. But let's get on into the show a little bit here. Mean Gene, we opened up the show. We're still doing the where they do the promo deal where they show everybody that's in the Royal Rumble, but this time, just like in 1991, we have Mean Gene's voice telling us all the matches in the Royal Rumble and so. Then we go straight to the commentary team. It's Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. They're doing commentary on the show, and they do a classic job putting guys over, telling a story, just being awesome as a commentating team. Just really good stuff. The first match we open up with the Orient Express versus the New Foundation. New Foundation consists of the Anvil, Jim Neidhart, and Owen Hart. If you don't remember, they had the Hart Foundation, and Bret Hart broke off and did his own thing. They didn't really know what to do with the Anvil, so they put him with Owen Hart, and they were the New Foundation. To cut a long story short, Anvil got fired, and they brought in Koko B. Ware, and then after that, there would be High Energy would be their names after that. The Orient Express versus the New Foundation. Once again, it's one of those matches that you look at and you think, probably not that good, but if you sit back and watch it, it's a good match. Gave it 3 stars. The more and more I sit back and think about it, I think Orient Express was a little bit underrated. Now, I'm not saying, oh God, they're the greatest tag team of all time, but very good. Well, it was a good match. Gave it 3 stars. Anvil really didn't do a whole lot. Owen Hart really carried this match. Him and Tanaka of Orient Express really carried this match. They would both do high flyer moves off the top rope. There was even a spot where the Mr. Fuji put his cane in the corner, and the Orient Express would run Owen Hart shoulder through the cane. But the New Foundation would pick up the win, and like I said, I gave it 3 stars out of 10. Solid match to open up with the Royal Rumble with. Then after that, we go to a replay of like a week beforehand of the Hitman losing the Intercontinental title. Supposedly he had a high fever and lost the belt to the Mountie. And after the Mountie beat Bret Hart, he continued to kick Bret Hart, beat him up, and then Piper would come down. And then Piper and the Mountie would have a feud. And then this match would be signed to the Royal Rumble. Then we go to a Jimmy Hart and Mountie promo. Not really saying a whole lot. And then we go to a killer Piper promo. Piper would just be awesome on the promos like he always was. And this is the first time the 92 Royal Rumble War I remember a guy doing double duty. Piper would be in the Intercontinental title match, and he would also be in the Royal Rumble. I like it when they don't have guys doing double duty. That way everybody on the card gets the opportunity to shine. But after this, years later, we would see it happen more and more often. But now let's go to the Intercontinental title match. I also gave it 3 stars. We have IC title champion the Mountie versus Piper. This was a pretty good solid match. Went back and forth. Piper would eventually pick up the win. He would beat up Jimmy Hart. He would tase the Mountie at the end of the match. And it was the first gold that Roddy Piper ever held in the WWF. And I think it was the only title he ever held in the WWF, which was cool. Because Piper really didn't need a belt. This match, I gave it 3 stars. Awesome match. Then we go to the back. We have Lord Alfred Hayes, who's doing a lot of interviews during the night. And he's in Hogan's dressing room. And Hogan's talking about how he's going to win the Royal Rumble, be WWF champion for the 5th time. And then they cut it out. And we go to another promo with Mean Gene Okerlund. We have the Bushwhackers and Jameson. I don't know if any of y'all remember Jameson. He was like a homeless nerd type deal. And they would wrestle the Beverly Brothers and the Genius. This match was the worst match on the card. Really boring. I gave it 2.5 stars. The Beverly Brothers would go over the Bushwhackers, but then the Bushwhackers and Jameson would beat up the Genius. Really silly stuff. Really didn't dig this match at all. That's why I gave it 2.5 stars. But it was still a classic. It was still a good tag team match, if that makes sense, at the same time. Then we go to another tag team match. This one's for the WWF tag team titles. But before that, we have a Legion of Doom promo. They're just pretty much, bashing the Natural Disasters. Good promo. Then we have the tag team title match. We have Legion of Doom, the champions, versus the challengers, the Natural Disasters. The Natural Disasters would win by a countout, but they would not win the belts. The Legion of Doom held onto the belts. It was a good match. If you go back, any of you guys go back and watch this match, you can actually sit there and watch Earthquake and realize that he's not just a big body, man. This guy could really wrestle. So go check it out if you got the time. He can really get on the mat and wrestle. I gave it 3 stars, like I said. Natural Disasters win by countout, but they don't get the titles. And then that leads us to our next promo with Jimmy Hart and the Natural Disasters. They're going off backstage. They're talking about they're going to get their lawyers and they're going to sue the WWF and all kinds of shit. They're going ballistic. Then we go back out to where Gorilla and Bobby Heenan are, and they're talking about Bobby Heenan wants to know what number Ric Flair drew on the night. That's all he talked about. Then when we go to some more promos, like we'll always do at these Royal Rumbles, we would go to a Roddy Piper, another promo about Piper after winning the IC title. He's ecstatic. This Piper Mountie deal, Piper would win the belt from the Mountie, but Bret Hart, after not being sick, would challenge Piper for the title at WrestleMania 8. This really built up. This is what got this feud going here. Was having Piper win the belt while Bret Hart was sick, and Bret Hart would come back and be like, "Oh no, dude, the only reason you're champion is because I was sick." And we've seen a great match between them two at WrestleMania 8. Then we go into more promos. We go to our first ever Royal Rumble promo of HBK, the Heartbreak Kid. We've seen him do promos as the Rockers, but he's doing the Shawn Michaels HBK gimmick. And they go back and show the replay of what he did to Marty Jannetty and why Marty Jannetty's not in the Royal Rumble. Alfred Hayes interviews Ric Flair, talking about the Royal Rumble tonight. We have a Macho Man promo. Then we go into all kinds of them. We got Sid, Repo Man, Bulldog, Jake Roberts, Ric Flair again, Undertaker, and then finally Hulk Hogan. Then we get down. We get ready for the Royal Rumble. 1992. It's for the WWF title. The winner gets the title. In my opinion, the best Royal Rumble ever. 90 was good. 89 was solid. 90 was good. 91 was great. And 92 was just as great. Let me run through here. Okay, this is the order. We all know what happens with the final three guys, but let me run through here and give you the guys in the Royal Rumble. We start out with Bulldog, $1 Million Man, Ric Flair, Sags. Now this is weird because, the year before, Brian Knobbs was in the Royal Rumble in 91 and Jerry Sags wasn't. And then in 92, Jerry Sags was in the Royal Rumble, but Brian Knobbs wasn't. Why didn't you just put both of them in there? Then we have Haku, HBK, Shawn Michaels, Tito Santana, Barbarian, Texas Tornado. Repo Man would debut. Like I said in last week's video, he was Demolition Smash. Demolition's last Royal Rumble was in 91, but they would bring Smash's new gimmick as the Repo Man to the light. He would enter at 10. We had Greg Valentine, Nikolai Volkov, Big Boss Man, Hercules, Roddy Piper doing double time on this one. Jake Roberts, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, IRS debut. This is his Royal Rumble debut. Jimmy Snuka, Undertaker, Macho Man, Berserker. If any of y'all remember him, John Norris. Is that his name? Something like that. Can't think of his name offhand anymore. Virgil, Iron Sheik as Colonel Mustafa, Rick Martel, Hulk Hogan, Skinner, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid, and the Warlord. This Royal Rumble was great from the beginning to the end. We did see some feuds. Like I said, we've seen Piper win the Intercontinental title. That would set up the feud with Bret Hart. But this one was for the WWF title. The last three guys in the ring are Hogan, Sid, and Ric Flair. I'm pretty sure most wrestling fans have seen this. This is one of the classic spots. Sid eliminates Hogan, and then Hogan's pulling on Sid's arm, and then Flair comes from behind and eliminates him, and Flair is a new WWF champion. Flair did a remarkable job in this match. One of the best performances I've ever seen Ric Flair do. Other things to talk about on this pay-per-view: Ric Flair was in the ring for 60 minutes. Piper was in there for almost 40. Just a solid pay-per-view. Great pay-per-view. There was some feuds in here that added up for WrestleMania 8, including the end of the Rumble where Sid and Hogan would get into it. That would be a match at WrestleMania 8. And we all thought we were going to see Hogan and Flair. It would be a Macho and Flair. One side note from this: if you have the original copy of Royal Rumble 92, when Sid eliminates Hogan, the whole crowd is cheering for Sid. They're going ballistic. But if you go back and watch it on DVD, they add all of that out, and all you hear is Hogan. And I thought that was an interesting fact, or a little part of Royal Rumble 92 history that people never look at. They didn't have that many feuds to feud up for WrestleMania 8 on the Royal Rumble 92, but it was such a great pay-per-view. And when you have a Royal Rumble for the world title, man, you know it's going to be special. This Royal Rumble was just absolutely phenomenal. I give it a slight edge over 1991, and that's why I give Royal Rumble 1992 10 stars out of 10 stars, and I will go ahead on record and say it's the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. That's just my opinion. I know some people will differ from me and my thoughts, but this has just been your 1992 Royal Rumble review, and I'll see you back next week with, like, this Royal Rumble was pretty much the end of the golden era of wrestling, and in 93 we're getting ready to start with a new generation and a whole new group of guys in the Royal Rumble, so be on the lookout for 93 review next week. Peace, guys.